Welcome back to another edition of the VSOP Lounge. I am your host, DeJuan J, captain of the Cool Kids, host of the Grown Man Logic podcast. What's going on, everybody? How we doing? How was your week? Did you enjoy last episode? Before we get started, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Just do me a favor. We'll continue to bring you content like this on a weekly basis. Just hit the subscribe button. Before we get started, the drink of the evening. This is good. This is a good selection. A dark and stormy. The recipe, the ingredients are up on your screen as we speak. So grab yourself a glass, pour yourself one, and let's get into it. Tonight I want to discuss the statement that all men are trash. You see it. It's on your timelines. It's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram. It's not on your timelines because social media has deemed this to be hate speech. Maybe we should take note of this. Maybe we should take note and take Zuckerberg's recommendation and mark this as hate speech and mark it out of our vocabulary. Why? Because it's hateful, and quite frankly, it is not an accurate statement. In fact, I'd go on record and say that most men that you come in contact with are not trash. I've been preaching this for the last 2 months. Actually, I've been preaching since Grown Man Logic aired its first episode. Nobody takes accountability. And women, this is your time. This is your turn to stand in the paint. So if I were going to title this conversation that I'm having with you, it would be simply, if men are trash, if all men are trash, then it's you who threw us away, women. It's you women that throw us away. We've gone on record. We've established the fact that social media is beginning to mark this particular sentence as hate speech, and with good reason. Because quite frankly, it's bullshit. And this comes as a consequence of people not dating in their lane, not seeing people in their lane. The problem that we're having is that women want to reach up constantly for a man that's out of their league and out of their lane. And men reaching down because, as I said on the episode of Grown Man Logic, when we talked about dating in your lane, when I said that men will essentially stick a dick in anything. But everybody's not meeting mom. Everybody's not going to church with us. Everybody's not seen in the daytime with us or seen in the same town in some aspects, depending on how big or how small your town is. It's a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt by the feminists. Let me back up. By the extreme feminists. I would argue that I myself am a feminist, and I argue for the rights of women, but that it has to come correct. There's decorum, there is order, and there is law and rules and a code that we have to adhere to in order for this whole thing to work. There has to be some sense of order, because right now the dating streets, from an objective standpoint, appears to be like the wild, wild west. Quite literally, everybody's shooting shots at anybody that they want to. And when you don't get the outcome that you want, you're calling a woman a thought. You're saying the man is trash. You're saying he's for the streets. There's an Instagram movement about it. You got your other single friends in your inbox or on the comments backing you up, clapping their hands. And none of you can seem to give each other proper advice because all of you are single. Because all of you have simply not found the right man. Maybe you're fishing in the wrong hole. Maybe it's you. So I guess we have to go back to the beginning. Where did this phrase originate? Where does it come from? I believe that it comes from hurt women. It comes from triggered women. Women that they feel were women that have been done wrong by men. Now, we're talking simply about relationships. I'm not talking about the pedophiles and the rapists and the beaters. I'm not talking about these guys. I'm not talking about the narcissist. I'm talking about men who exemplify or exhibit one or more quality of maybe a narcissist, or maybe, an exchange didn't go the way that you thought it was going to go, and now all of a sudden he's trash. There's a double standard that has to be addressed here. There's a double standard that has to be addressed where a woman can call a man trash, and men are not allowed to say this about women. You say that, I want a man in touch with his feminine side. I need him to show some emotion. But when he displays emotion to you, he's considered weak. You call him a bitch to all your girls. He cried in front of me, girl. Do you believe that? He had the nerve to be upset. He's angry. When you come out and you make statements like this, it's almost like you want men to be like robots. And we're not. We're not monolithic. We're not all the same. Different things trigger different men in different ways. We feel it differently because that's how God made us. That's how the universe created us. That's how we evolved. Whatever your belief system is, that's how it turned out to be. We're all different. There's no single man that's similar or identical to another one. So we got to get rid of the double standard, right? Because growing up, a man secure in who he is and is confident in who he is. Maybe he grew up with two parents where his father told him, nice guys finish last. It's a cliche. You hear it. Nice guys finish last. I want a man that's assertive, but don't be too assertive. Don't speak to me out of turn. Don't raise your voice at me. I want you to pay all of the bills, pursue me, but if I piss you off in any sort of way, don't you dare raise your voice at me. Don't you dare be man enough to be vulnerable in front of me. These are the kind of double standards that men deal with. On top of everything else, you want us to lead. You want us to stay fit. You want us to have a good job. You want us to be fatherly. So my question to you ladies is, if a man is all of these things outside in the world, and he walks into a room and he demands respect, he's respected by other men, he asked you out, he's willing to pay, has the ability to pay, some sense of security and things of that nature, and he raises his voice, or he may fly off the handle, or he has low patience for your low rent bullshit, the stuff that women cook up in the back of their minds, and these hypothetical scenarios of cheating and infidelity and flying off left field, and we're supposed to deal with all of that kind of stuff and not say shit. You want us to be silent. Where do they do that at? Where? Why is this a thing? According to the Institute of Family Studies, okay, they actually did a study on this very topic. Why do women consider men trash? And we're gonna break these down one at a time. The list that they came up with was, pull my notes: cheating, communication or lack thereof, over masculinity, in touch with their feelings, and effort. Okay. Because and it's important. It's important that we talk about this and we break these down, because women, what role did you play in this? What role did you play in this? Every bad experience is not just because some man decided that he was going to wake up to you one day and be an asshole, or he was going to wake up one day and willingly commit infidelity, or be an ineffective communicator. I'm going to shut down the communication. I don't believe that. But there's nobody taking acknowledgement for, on the women's side, for what role that you actually played. Which is why I say that if men are in fact trash, you guys are the one who threw us away. Let's get into it. Effort. You want a man to be the person to ask you out. You want the man to pay. And I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I feel like that any man who asks out any woman should be willing and in a position to pay, and actually should pay. Putting in effort. Not all women want to go on dates to go out something to eat. Your first date can't be to the movies because you can't talk. So men, women, I'll meet you, not halfway, but about 3/4 or a quarter of. I'll meet you a quarter of the way. Right? Men, we got to be creative when it comes to these dates. Skydiving, go-karting, walks in the park, walk along the lake, feed ducks, volunteer, uplift your community together. There's several different things that you can come up with that are just let me take you to dinner. Let's go to a movie. It's boring. And every beta male that this woman's ever come across has done these things. So we got to do better. All right. I'll meet you a quarter of the way there, ladies. But for every man who's attempted to make any sort of effort in taking a woman out, there's also been the woman who I'm gonna let him take me out to dinner for a free meal. I was hungry. But we're in a point now where you're expecting way too much. Where the men of the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, where he showed up with flowers on the first date. But the truth of the matter is, you don't deserve that. I don't know you like that, number one, and you don't deserve that. You can't come across entitled this way. If you're going to require to be put on a pedestal, right? And you're going to write me off because I don't show up with flowers? The fuck? I think that women want old school chivalry, but can't handle everything that comes along with old school men. Because in the age that you were talking about, men was men. Men were men. We're going to go here. I'm going to pay. But at the end of the night, it's time for a little reciprocity. And y'all ain't prepared to handle that. Quite simply are not prepared. You're not prepared for, we're going to go on this date and I'm not going to call you tomorrow. I'll call you in 2 days. Because I got shit to do. I've got a business to run. I've got to hit the time clock. I potentially have other suitors. We've gone out once. You have no entitlement to me. So I'll put in the effort. I'll meet you a quarter of the way and tell men that you do need to put in effort. But for all of these chivalrous men that women claim to want, the truth of the matter is you can't handle what's on the flip side of the coin. Before you throw me back to the streets, I'll show up with the flowers. But if I have a date tomorrow, I'm going to show her flowers for her. Now you don't want flowers anymore because you don't want to be compared, or you don't want me to do for you what I've done for everyone else. So where's the line? Where's the line in this where you kind of accept that every experience is unique, and chivalry needs to be decided upon by you, how you were raised, and that man. But these are discussions that you have via phone, perhaps over dinner, perhaps on your walk on the beach, perhaps in your walk through the park, maybe in the car ride to this restaurant where I'm going to overpay for a meal you're going to barely eat, and I'm not going to get any sex at the end of the night. So the question that you have to ask yourself, ladies, is that if a man's willing to put in the effort, are you worth the effort? Where is the return on investment? And I'm not just talking in a sexual manner. I'm not just talking about sex. Where is the return on investment? Where does it come? When does it come? Because some of you out here are in these 90-day clicks where you're making a man wait for 90 days. No man's doing that shit. I'm telling you that right now. If you find some beta that's willing to wait 90 days to sample the goods, good on you. But 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to be bored because he's not a hunter. He's not a conqueror. He's not alpha. He's not going to be in a position to lead because you set those ground rules. He probably, on a fundamental level, disagrees with it, and he allowed it to happen anyway. He's not going to challenge you. So then you're going to get bored and dump him anyway. Let's go with in touch with his feelings. Men are very in touch with our feelings. We're very in touch with our feelings. Now, whether we share them or not, and this feeds into the communication piece a little bit, whether we share them or not with you is a completely different story. One of the biggest compliments that a man can give a woman is being vulnerable in front of her. Feeling secure in her femininity to be masculine enough to show some vulnerability. But that shit doesn't come overnight. You have to earn that kind of shit. You have to show me that you got my back. And how does that happen? With time. It happens with time. Because just as much as you were hurt, he could have been hurt the same way. And while I don't advocate for two hurt people getting together, 9 times out of 10, this is what happens. Two partially healed people come together in an attempt to fill the voids in one another, and they fail because it takes one complete person and one complete person to make one complete happy household and one complete relationship. Everything else is bullshit. Over masculinity. I don't even know what the fuck this is. I don't know what it is. I don't. I think that people are who they are, and the people on the receiving end of their words and their treatment can either deal with it or they can't. But it's not up to you to say that a man's trash because he's a little too aggressive for your liking. That doesn't make him trash. Just because he's your cup of tea doesn't make him trash. And I guess that the problem that I'm having with this entire statement is that when you come out and make a statement like that, very rarely did that instance happen to you. You're hearing stories from your girlfriend when y'all was on the phone holding court, drinking wine, eating popcorn, talking about men ain't shit. And now because you want to show some support, you're on social media talking about men ain't shit. Have you tried one lately? Go get one. And if you've had several failed relationships in a row, And it's always the same thing, infidelity or lack of communication. Maybe it's you. Maybe I don't find you relatable, so I don't communicate. Maybe you're not competing accurately, or you're not competing as hard as you think you are. Because real men are a sought after commodity, and it's time that men demand. It's time that men demand that we're treated like that. Real men are a sought after commodity. We're catches. We have the ability to lead. We can be great fathers one day, where we think enough outside of the box to never keep you bored. We do the romantic things. We're commodities, precious ones. But if you look at the dating scene today, it doesn't seem like that. It seems like we're only options. Why? And I guess, men, this is towards you. Why? Why are we allowing women to get away with treating us like this? Why are we sitting back, taking a beta position because we don't want to offend anybody at a risk of being single forever? Not to be cliche, but there are literally millions of fish in the sea. And because you prefer somebody that looks like you, doesn't mean you have to end up with somebody that looks like you. I think the types, and when I spoke about this on Grown Man Logic, episode 14, I spoke about this when I said that types are ruining relationships because you lock yourself into a box. But you have to realize, ladies, more so than men, it's not that you attract a certain type of man, but maybe where you're shopping for men, where you're looking for men, only one type of man hangs out there. If you're picking men out of a bar, I'm not here for a long time, I'm here for a good time. And I get it. I get it. These are harsh pills to swallow. I get it. But it's the truth. It is the truth. And any man that's man enough or not under the pressure of trying to sleep with you is going to admit this. I don't know what you guys thought this was or thought it was out here, but at the end of the day, real men are getting sick of your shit. It's not that we're intimidated because you have an aggressive personality. It's not we're intimidated because you make a lot of money. It's not that we're intimidated because you think that you're a boss bitch. We quite simply, quite frankly, don't want to deal with your shit. And the topic of this conversation is another example of bullshit that y'all spew. Because y'all want men in a box. Y'all want us to act the way that y'all want us to act and no other way. And if we can't have it that way, you break up with us and we're the topic of your timeline on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the next month or so until you get until you get another man, right? You probably picked him up from the same place or a place similar, and then the cycle repeats itself. Get off of the fucking hamster wheel. Do something different. All men aren't trash. Not even close to all men are trash. And the statement makes me so mad because I'm included in that. When you say all men are trash, there's no segregation of married, single, gay, prisoner, pedophile, rapist, abuser. There's no segregation. What the fuck did I do to you to be looped in that category? The answer is nothing. I did nothing to you. You probably don't even know me. You know who I am. And if you're following Grown Man Logic content like you should, then you know what I'm about. But I haven't made one trashy ass statement on this show, nor will I, because my mom raised me better than that. My dad raised me better than that. So yeah, it pisses me off when I hear statements like all men are trash, because you're looping me in. I'm generally pretty good at minding my own business, going about my day I'm pretty good at it. But let's be real here. We have to get rid of the general blanket statements because men don't do this to women. If a woman cheats on a man, he's not saying, "Oh, all women are hoes." It's unfair. I can't make a statement, all these bitches. I can't make a statement like that and be taken seriously by any woman of quality. Can't be done. Communication. Women and men communicate differently. We do. That's just how it is. So instead of looking at, you have to make valuable use of your time. These dates when you're out and you're getting to know one another. It's important to express how you communicate. What's the most effective way to reach you? But nobody's having these conversations. Why? Is it because we're caught up in lust? When I'm feeling you out, I need to know how to most effectively communicate with you. Because I don't know what you guys are doing out now in these dating streets. I'm not sure what you're up to. But dating should be for the purposes of building a long-term relationship and or marriage. And if that's the case, then one of the key things that we have to talk about is communication. How do we relate to one another? How do I know when you're pissed? How do I know when you want to talk, when you need space? Vice versa, how do you know when to bring something out of me? How do you know when I need space? Because for generation after generation after generation, men have been taught, you're a man up, nut up, man up, fucking swallow it. Nobody gives a because men are conditioned to be fixers. But who fixes the fixer when the fixer is broken? You? Doubt it. The sad reality is that some men attempt to be vulnerable and open up to their woman, and then it turns into a bad day pissing contest. Honey, I had a rough day at work. I really need to talk about this. Oh, you had a rough day, huh? Let me tell you about what happened. And then we do what we continue to do. We man up. We take on your shit, make you laugh, make you, a glass of wine. Maybe I'll take the turn cooking dinner this evening, or, take the baby, or whatever. And now we're owning your shit as well. Because that's what men do. So men may be ineffective communicators, but again, what role did you play in this? Men might act over masculine, but again, nice guys finish last. You need a man that's assertive. So you're essentially complaining about the same shit that you want out of a man, and it's not fair. It's not fair. So no longer can we use this term that all men are trash, because it's bullshit. Oh, and finally, we're going to address the elephant in the room: infidelity, cheating. Now, I don't condone cheating. I don't support it. But I understand it. I understand it because, for the reasons I listed previously in the same conversation, men aren't being fulfilled at home. We're not. You're too busy trying to be our equal. You're so focused on making an equal amount of money, having an equal amount of rights, sharing equal responsibilities, and throwing this shit back in our faces that you're missing the thing that we very well need the most. We need a partner, somebody to compliment us. We need compliments, not competition. But you guys don't get it. You don't fucking get it. So when a woman gets your man to cheat on you with her, she's not everything that you are. She doesn't measure up to you. But she is the few things that you're not. And because you're so busy attempting to wear pants and take our spot, you're missing it. And it's not like we don't talk about it, because we'll tell you. It's the subtle comments that you dismiss, that you think that nobody's paying attention to. 18 to 29-year-old women cheat at a higher rate than men, according to the Institute of Family Studies. And these are just the ones that reported or admitted. So it's probably actually way more skewed than what's led on. Men don't start cheating, according to the study, until about 40, 45. But look what else happens. That's also at the time we're at our financial peak. This is also at the time where we've come into our own. We've grown up. We've built our business. We've built our empire. We're starting to focus on legacy. And at this point, men just want to be happy. And you're not providing that happiness. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that every woman that gets cheated on is their fault. I'm not going to say that. But there is some blame to be had there. And for you to say that all men are trash means that you're not looking in the mirror. So if all men are trash, you're definitely the bag. You're the receptacle. You're the dumpster that the trash goes in. You women, you have blame in this too. And until you're able to hold yourselves accountable for what blame you take in the behavior of men, shit will never be right. You'll forever make these posts, and there will be another me after me. There'll be another him after him, continuing to fight this fight and tell you that not all men are trash. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's the situation. Maybe it's the dating game that's trash. All I know is this. It's unfair to make blanket statements comparing all men to garbage. What about the man that's loyal to his wife? The man that takes on a wife with children and raises those children as his own. Has his own kid. An amazing father. He's trash? No. And this is for the lady out there that's going to say, oh, it's just a turn of phrase, and we obviously don't mean. Language matters. Words matter. And if you're going to hold us accountable for every time we call one of you a cunt or every time we call one of you a bitch, you need to be held accountable for making statements like this. Because you come across dumb. You come across insensitive. You come across as unapproachable. You come across as aggressive and belligerent. And no man's going to want to deal with that. So you're just going to continue to get the men that only want to fuck you and not make any relationship with you long term. And you're going to continue to think that men are trash. There has to be a paradigm shift. And it has to start with you when it comes to this. Because if you show a man respect, you show a man appreciation, you show a man adulation, a real man is going to reciprocate. And that's my spiel on that. That's my rant over. Thank you guys for listening. If you're not done with this conversation, you want to talk about it some more, comment. Email me, talktogml@gmail.com. Talktogml@gmail.com. Let's discuss. Because we have to iron it out. We have to. This has been another episode of the VSOP Lounge. I am your host, DeJuan J. We'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Did you enjoy what you just watched? Be sure to give Grown Man Logic a listen on all streaming services and follow us on all forms of social media. We'll see you next time.